WFKCHS is a tobacco-free area. We thank you for your cooperation, and we thank you for your support of our high school athletes. Let's meet tonight's teams. First, for the visiting Caribou Vikings, coached by Mr. Mark Shea, assisted by Mr. Sean Dubé. Student managers Paige Espling, Kimberly Susi, and Victoria Levitt. Number 2, Abby Allen. Number 5, Eddie Shea. Number 7, Aaliyah Terrio. Number 8, Emma Hickson. Number 9, Sophia DeRapo. Number 10, Aria Caverhill. Number 11, Selena Savage. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland. Number 13, Maddie Ziegler. Number 21, Brooke Moore. And number 99, goalkeeper Sage Dubé. And now for the Fort Kent Lady Warriors, coached by Mr. Doug Sear, assisted by Miss Michelle Lovely and Miss Val McBride. Student manager Shay Labonte. Starting in goal, number 0, Lindsay Willett. Number 3, Lacey Pelletier. Number 5, Amanda Tebow. Number 12, Morgan Sear. The officials for today's contest are Mr. Worcester, Mr. Stett, and Mr. Rosignol. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. The anthem is sung by senior Katie Hebert.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what she proved through the night that our flag was still there? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
James, are you okay? Yeah? You need anything? You need a drink?
Greetings, soccer fans, and welcome to today's WFKT TV4 live webcast from Fort Kent Community High School. Tonight we are bringing you the varsity girls soccer game between the visiting Caribou Vikings and the host Fort Kent Community High School Warriors. Tonight's game is officiated by Mr. Rosignol, Mr. Stett, and Mr. Worcester. 26, Sydney Philbrick, and number 12, Morgan Sear. Kickoff has started. The Vikings taking the first possession. Number 5 dribbling the ball. Dispossessed. Desiree Hafford gets control. Passes the ball to Morgan Sear. Warriors retain possession. Morgan Sear picks a pass. Here. And that turns. Shot! Wide of the net. Goal kick. Excuse me, that's a correction. That's a corner kick. Corner kick for the Vikings. Can't quite see who's taking that corner for the Vikings. Lindsay Willett grabs the ball. The ball never made its way into the field of play, so it'll be a goal kick for the Warriors. Sam Roy passes the ball out to the wing. Riley Sibley passes to Kaylee Guimont. Lacey Pelletier is on the ball. Dispossessed by number 21 of the Vikings. A little bit of a scrum. Warriors are able to come out with the ball. Morgan Sear giving chase. She's able to keep it in, but then it will run out of bounds. Throw in for the Vikings. Be a throw in by Riley Sibley. Tries to get the ball to Lacey. Kind of squeaks out to her. And goes out for a corner kick for the Warriors. Riley Sibley's going to take the corner for the Warriors.
Bailey, be ready, girl.
She sets up and delivers the ball. Number 14, Gabby Martin's able to get a touch on it, but it's not enough. Back in by Kaylee Guimont. Ooh, and saved by Sage Duvet. Amanda Tebow gets a touch on the ball. Back to Desiree Hafford. Shaylee Jondro kicks it up to Morgan Sear, who's unable to retain possession, but she's looking for a pass, ends up finding Amanda Tebow, who switches the ball over to Shaylee Jondro, who then gets it back up to Morgan Sear, and it looks like the Warriors might have something going here. Nice. Wonderful 1-2 touch pass. Sydney Philbrook with the shot, and it is saved by Sage Duvet. Number 9 gets a touch on it. She's able to save it, flicks it back to number 10, who tries to pass it, maybe to a flag, ends up being dispossessed. Morgan Sear with the ball. Martin in the middle of the field, but unable to connect. Desiree Hafford passes the ball in, back to Sydney Philbrook, who gets the ball to Lacey Pelletier. Lacey to Gabby Martin, Kaylee Guimont, and blocked by number 21 of the Vikings. Number 2, Abby Allen has to get the ball out. Desiree Hafford gets the ball up the wing. Morgan Sear is able to get possession to Sydney Philbrook, who rips a shot into the arms of Sydney. Goal kick for the Vikings. We have a sub into the game, number 18, Emily Adler. Ball is played in. Riley Sibley gets a touch on it, but is unable to retain possession, falling at the feet of number 21, who kicks the ball out. Throw in for the Warriors. Riley Sibley very quickly into Kaylee Guimont, who gets the ball up to Gabby Martin, and is unable to connect on her pass. Gets it back, cuts, takes a shot, but that is wide of the net. Ball is kicked out by Shaylee Jondro for a Viking throw-in. And I can't quite see who that is, but it will be a throw-in for the Warriors. White gets a touch on it. It'll be another throw-in for the Warriors. Nancy Martin with the ball. She's dribbled possession, and Lacey Pelletier ends up with the ball at her foot. Gabby Martin with the ball. Tries to connect on the pass to Riley Sibley, who's able to keep the ball in play but not. Oh, she tried to shield the ball, but was unable to get a touch on it. An attempted clearance out by the Vikings. Desiree Hafford tries to get a shot off. There's a scrum for the ball. Into the game for the Lady Warriors, we have number 26, Sydney Philbrook. It will be a corner kick for the Warriors. It looks like Gabby Martin will be, but are unable to maintain possession. Number 12 gets a flag ball, and Nancy Martin is able to shield the ball away and get there first. We're going to call a hand on the back there, and so that's going to be a foul, so it's going to be a direct kick for the Lady Warriors. Nancy Martin with a nice ball. Jockeying for position. Lands onto the foot of one of the Lady Warriors, but they are unable to maintain possession. Number 9 for the Vikings with the pass. I can't quite see, that's number 5, Edie Shea. And it ends up going too far into the arms of Lindsay Willett. A short, quick one to Nancy Martin from Lindsay. That is able to still end up on Riley Sibley's foot to Keely Guimau, who tries to get it up for Gabby Martin to run onto, but a speeding 21, Brooke Moore for the Vikings gets there. Into the arms of Sage Dubé. She boots the ball up. Number 5 is able to get a touch on it first. And it does go over for a Viking throw-in. We have a throw-in for the Vikings. And Desiree Hafford is able to intercept that ball. A pass back to the goalkeeper, who boots it up and lands at the foot of, I believe that is number 5, 10 with the ball now. And Nancy Martin is able to collect that ball. She passes it up, but is unable to connect with Sydney Philbrook, who was trying to run onto that. Goal kick that nobody's able to win. Shaylee Jandro finally gets ahead to it. Ball bounces underneath the foot of Nancy Martin, but she's able to recover for a short second. But Amanda Thibault is there to boot the ball away. It will be a deep throw-in for the Vikings. Number 10, Mia Terrio to take this throw-in. And the ball ends up at the feet of Nancy Martin. Number 13, pass is wide onto the foot of Riley Sibley, who's looking to pick out a pass. Number 21 gets possession of that ball. Looking to get it out wide. Boots it up. Nancy Martin with a touch. Shields the ball away. Number 10 gets a touch on it, back to Amanda Thibault, who boots it up onto the foot of Gabby Barton, who was offside when that ball was kicked, so it will be a direct kick for the Vikings. number 21, Brooke Moore, to take the free kick. Lacey Pelletier gets a head on it, ends up at the feet of Gabby Martin, who cuts back, but is unable to maintain possession and ends up fouling number 5, Shea, so it will be another direct kick for the Vikings. Number 18 to take this, Emily Adler. The Vikings are unable to maintain possession. Lacey Pelletier with the ball at her foot. Moves the ball up and kicked out by number 13, Maddie Ziegler. It'll be a throw-in for the Warriors. Into the game for the Warriors is Samantha Roy. Riley Sibley throws the ball in to Kaylee Gima, who then passes it up to Sydney Philbrook, who shields the ball away and gets a ball a little bit too far for Morgan Sear. A quick throw by the Vikings goalkeeper. And they were able to gain possession quickly. But there's a charge called, and it will be a free kick for the Warriors, taken by number 5, Amanda Tebow, who was unable to connect with Morgan Sear. It will be a Viking throw-in on the far sideline, and I cannot see who's taking that throw-in for the Vikings. Ball is kept in, but possession is kept by the Warriors. Kaylee Gima tries to get the ball up, but there was a deflection, landing at the feet of number 9. She is dispossessed by Kaylee Gima. Number 13 for the Vikings gets a foot on it and deflects her pass out of the way. Kaylee Gima passes the ball up, but it is too far and gathered up by the Vikings goalkeeper. Desiree Hafford gets a head on the ball and ends up at the feet of Sam Roy, who tries to get the ball to Riley Sibley, but she's unable to get a touch on the ball. Number 5 for the Vikings has the ball. Kicks it up. Flag ball, but it is defended by Shaylee Jandro, who kicks it out for a Viking throw-in on the far side. She gets the ball in very quickly. It'll be another throw-in for the Vikings. That throw, the Vikings are unable to retain possession. But there's a little bit of ping pong back and forth.
No stop. Draw ball.
And that will be another throw-in for the Vikings on the far sideline. Oh, looks like we have a drop ball actually. And the Warriors get possession of that, but it is booted up by the Vikings. Amanda Tebow with the pass to Shaylee Jandro, who tries to get it up to Desiree Hafford, but she is unable to corral that. But so are the Vikings, so it'll be a throw-in by the Warriors. Sub into the game for the Warriors, number 4, Ellie Sidwell. Another throw-in for the Warriors. A throw is touched first by the Vikings, but is able to squeak out to Nancy Martin, who gets a touch, and passes the ball to Riley Sibley, who's fighting for position, but is unable to come out with it. Number 9 attempts to pass the ball up, but it is deflected by number 13, Nancy Martin, so that will be a throw-in for the Vikings. Into the game for the Vikings, number 1, Macy Wakeham, and number 2, Abby Allen. The ball is thrown in to number 18, but ends up at the foot of Kaylee Gima. Looks like that ball took a bit of a deflection into the hands of Sage Dubé, goalkeeper for the Caribou Vikings. Vikings the first to get a touch on it. And not sure who that is, but she fights for position and is unable to get the ball up to one of her players. Number 4, Ellie Sigwell with the ball. But it ends up being kicked out to Shaylee Jandro, who knocks it out of play for a Viking throw-in on the far side. Not quite sure who that is, but she gets the ball up to one of her teammates, who crosses it across the box to number 12. Scrumming for the ball, but Sam Roy is able to come out with possession, trying to get the ball to Riley Sibley. Number 18 passes it back to number 21, Brooke Moore for the Vikings. Unable to come up with possession, Morgan Sear gets the ball to Riley Sibley, who is able to keep it inbounds on the wing, but unable to connect on the pass to Nancy Martin, and number 12, Gabby Sutherland, clears it up. Gabby Sutherland again, taking the space given to her. Sam Roy knocks it out of play for a throw-in. Number 13, Maddie Ziegler, into number 2. Sam Roy gets the ball. Riley Sibley able to keep control of that ball and switches the field over to Ellie Sibley, who tries to connect on a pass, but it is taken control of by the Vikings. Now to the far side, a shield, and she's almost able to keep possession there, but not quite. Nancy Martin with a move, but is dispossessed. Number 21, Brooke Moore, dribbling the ball up the wing. Passes the ball up, but it is into the arms of Lindsay Willett. We have 15 minutes here in the first half. Still 0-0. Sam Roy with the ball to Kaylee Guimont, to Riley Sibley, who gets the ball to Morgan Sear, who then tries to get the ball back to Riley Sibley, but is unable to connect on her pass. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings, number 13, Maddie Ziegler. Number 10 heads the ball onto the foot of Kaylee Guimont, who then gets her left foot on it to try and switch fields, but is unable to get the ball to one of her teammates. The ball somehow manages to go back, and it'll be a punt from the Vikings keeper. Kaylee Guimont tries to get the ball up to Riley Sibley, but there was a foul on the play, so it'll actually be a direct kick for the Warriors. The advantage was lost. Kaylee Guimont kicks the ball. Nancy Martin's able to get a touch on it, but it ends up onto the foot of number 10 for the Vikings, Mia Terrio. Ball on the far side, Shaylee Jandro shielding away, and ends up getting it to, not sure who that is on the sideline, Ellie Sidwell with the ball. Number 21, Brooke Moore. The ball on her foot. Tries to pick a pass, but it is cleared up by Sam Roy. Nancy Martin has a chance to get her foot on it. She does, but is unable to get possession, and it deflects off Riley Sibley for a Viking throw-in. Into the game for the Vikings, number 9, Laura Page, and into the game for the Warriors, number 14, Gabby Martin. Throw-in Vikings. It ends up on the foot of Morgan Sear, who passes it to Sam Roy, who gets it onto the foot of Gabby Martin, but she's unable to retain possession. It falls on the foot of number 10, Mia Terrio, who boots the ball up. Sam Roy with the ball, passes it out wide to Nancy Martin, picks her head up and looks for a pass, but it is hit off of the foot of number 10, Mia Terrio for the Vikings. It'll be a throw-in for the Warriors. Kaylee Guimau to take the throw, who passes it back to Sam Roy, who looks up for a pass and ends up giving it right back to Kaylee Guimau, who gets the ball up to Gabby Martin, who's able to get a touch on that ball and keep possession. She crosses the ball across the box, but it ends up on the foot of a Viking. Ellie Sid was able to kind of corral the ball, but unable to keep it in play. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Again, Ellie Sidwell with a touch on the ball. Into the game for the Vikings. Number 3. Ellie Sidwell with a touch on the ball. She gets it up to the middle, and Gabby Martin, who looks to find her sister Nancy, but is unable to connect. And the Vikings boot the ball up. Sam Roy has it on her foot and gets a pass to Nancy Martin, whose touch is a little bit too strong, but the Warriors are able to maintain possession. Amanda Tebow back out to Sam Roy, who gets the ball to Nancy. Kaylee Guimau takes it off of the foot of number 13. A quick throw by Kaylee, who gets the ball in to Gabby Martin, who is unable to retain possession as he is knocked away by the Vikings, and another strong touch from Nancy Martin kicks the ball out of bounds. So it will be a Viking throw. Number 13, Maddie Ziegler to take the throw for the Vikings. We do have another sub into the game for the Vikings. Vikings try to get a switch, and number 5, Edie Shea, is able to keep possession of the ball and kicks it up to an oncoming Laura Page, who's unable to get there in time, and it will be possession for the Warriors. Sam Roy gets the ball up to the foot of number 13 for the Vikings, Maddie Ziegler, passes it to number 2, Abby Allen, who tries to get the ball up to one of her teammates. It looks like that is Mia Terrio, but is unable to connect. So it will be a throw-in for the Warriors. We have just under 10 minutes left in this first half. Still 0-0 game. Sam Roy with the ball in to Kaylee Guimau, who's able to get her foot on it, but it is unable to keep it in bounds. Number 13 to number 18, Emily Adler, who gets the ball back to Brooke Moore. Number 2, Abby Allen switches fields to number 5, Edie Shea, who is controlling the ball up in the wing, but Shaylee Jondro is able to get a touch and knock it out for a Viking throw. Number 18, Shaylee Jondro, attempts to keep the ball in bounds, and does. The boot by number 18 of the Vikings ends up under the foot of one of the Warriors and kind of pinging back and forth. Desiree Hafford gets the ball up, but it ends up at the foot of one of the Vikings. Lacey Pelletier now gains possession, is dribbling up the middle of the field, delivers a pass, but it did look like it took a deflection off of one of the Vikings and did not reach its intended destination. But Kaylee Guimau is able to get a foot on it just a bit too far into the arms of Sage Dubé. She punts the ball. The Vikings are the first to get a touch on it. Desiree Hafford with the head. Ball is cleared, ping-ponging back and forth. Vikings end up with it on their foot. Can't quite tell who that is, but she's dribbling up the side. We have subs, number 7, Aelia Terrio, number 12, Gabby Sutherland, and number 11, Selena Savage into the game for the Vikings. We have a stoppage to let the subs get off the field, and play resumes with a throw that ends up on the foot of Amanda Tebow, but she's unable to clear it up far enough, and the Vikings are able to keep it pinned down in that end. We have a shield and a jockey for position by number 12, Gabby Sutherland, who's able to get the ball to number 9, Laura Page. Vikings tried to get a shot off, but Shaylee Jandra with the block. Ball ends up by midfield. Number 10 tries to retain possession, but is knocked off the ball. Kicked up to number 21, Brooke Moore, who's being pursued by a couple Warriors and is able to keep the ball in bounds. Falls back on her foot. She tries to pick a pass, but Desiree Hafford is there. She gets the ball up, but is unable to connect with one of her teammates, and the Vikings have the ball at the foot. Dribble up the side. Ball is crossed back into the middle. I think that's number 11, Selena Savage, with the ball at her foot. A good hard fight between number 23, Sam Roy, and number 11, Selena Savage, that ends up resulting in a throw-in for the Vikings. Number 7, Aelia Terrio to take that. She finds Selena Savage, who gets the ball to one of her teammates. And a shot that ends up going wide for a corner kick for the Vikings. This corner will be taken by number 12, Gabby Sutherland, it looks like. I can't quite see the number. You have the high kick that ends up into the arms of Lindsay Willett, who turns and quickly punts it. It ends up at the foot of Nancy Martin, who tries to turn and switch fields. Lacey Pelletier to Morgan Sear, who tries to get the ball to Gabby Martin but is unable to connect. Number 21, Brooke Moore, with the ball at her foot, is unable to connect with a teammate but does get the ball back to number 11. The ball squeaks through. It looks like that's number 10, who had an open opportunity, but Amanda Tebow was able to clear that ball away, and it will be a throw-in deep. A deep throw-in for number 10, Nia Terrio of the Vikings. Nancy Martin ends up getting the ball, dribbling up, and but dribbles the ball out to the Vikings. It's deflected. It's a green throw-in into the game for the Warriors is number 10, Riley Sibley. Sam Roy with the throw-in onto the foot of Lacey Pelletier, who's unable to connect with a teammate, and it falls at the feet of number 12, Gabby Sutherland, who finds her teammate. She's able to connect with number 10, Mia Terrio, but is dispossessed by Sam Roy, and it ends up going off of number 10, Mia Terrio. So it will be a goal kick for the Warriors, who take a quick one. Shaylee Jondro with the ball at her foot. Finds Desiree Hafford, who is unable to connect with Morgan Sear. It will be a throw-in for Shaylee Jondro. She gets the ball to Desiree Hafford, who is unable to keep the ball in, and it ends up going out for a throw-in to the Vikings. Ball ends up at number 12, Gabby Sutherland's foot. She looks up, tries to pick a pass. A flick on that goes to the foot of Amanda Tebow, but she's unable to clear it out of the zone. On to Riley Sibley's foot, who gets the ball to Kayla Guimau with space. She's dribbling. Tries to pick a pass out. Ends up on Gabby Martin's foot, but a quick recovery by the Vikings. Riley Sibley jockeying for position. Ends up pressuring one of the Vikings to kick it out. We will have a throw-in by Riley Sibley on the near side. Her throw tries to go to Gabby Martin, but there is a Viking in the way.
2 minutes.
Ends up onto the foot of Desiree Hafford, who takes a shot, but it is wide. 2 minutes remaining in the second half. We still have a scoreless contest here, awaiting a goal kick. Ball is in. First to it is Lacey Pelletier, but she's unable to keep possession. The ball is kicked out by Kaylee Guimau for a Viking throw. We have a fight for possession, and the Vikings end up kicking it out too wide for a throw. Desiree Hafford with the skip onto the foot of Morgan Sear, whose ball is a bit out of reach, and it is a punt by Sage Dubé of the Vikings. Amanda Tebow has the ball at her foot, kicks it up. Gabby Martin in pursuit of number 13, Maddie Ziegler. Ends up going off of her foot for a Viking throw. Number 9, Laura Page with the ball at her foot, turns, headed by Lacey Pelletier, who is able to keep possession of the ball. She turns, takes a touch, and hits a shot right into the arms of Sage Dubé. Just about 15 seconds left. Vikings trying to get something going here.
9, 8, 7, 6.
There will be a foul
5, 4,
on that far end.
3, 2, 1.
Time was running out in the half, and they were unable to set something up. So that is halftime here. We have a score of 0-0. We are just about to get the second half underway here. Just waiting on the okay from Mr. Rossignol. And there is his whistle. Gabby Martin just started off, passing the ball back to Kaylee Guimont, who gets the ball over to Ellie Sidwa, who's able to get the ball up to a running Gabby Martin, but it is kicked out by one of the Viking defenders on that side for a throw-in. Gabby Martin with the ball at her foot, turns, passes the ball over to Sydney Philbrook, who gets the ball back to Kaylee Guimont. Kaylee Guimont to Lacey Pelletier. Lacey playing the ball, trying to get a pass off, but is unable to connect with Ellie Sidwa. It'll be a goal kick for the Vikings. Sage Stupid kicks it off. Vikings first to the ball. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland, is dispossessed by Lacey Pelletier, who gets the ball to Sydney Philbrook, to Gabby Martin, back to Sydney Philbrook, who is unable to maintain possession as number 21, Brooke Moore, kicks it out. And that'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Thrown in, Riley Sibley gets her head on it, but it ends up onto the foot of some of the Vikings. Sam Roy tries to get the ball wide, but is just out of reach of Ellie Sidwa, and so it will be a throw-in for the Vikings. Ball is in to number 12, Gabby Sutherland, who gets the ball up, but it is wide. It'll be a throw-in for the Warriors. Sam Roy on that side. Vikings with the first head on the ball, but it ends up at the feet of Ellie Sidwa, who gets it to Desiree Hafford, who kicks it up to a Gabby Martin who's waiting, sends a through ball, but is unable to connect with Sydney Philbrook, and it ends up on the feet of number 21, Brooke Moore. Kaylee Guimont with a good pressure to keep the ball in the territory, but it does end up falling onto the feet of Vikings. There's a battle in the corner to gain possession of the ball. Ellie Sidwa ends up getting a foot on it. Kaylee Guimont. Pass ends up at the feet of one of the Viking defenders, but Desiree Hafford is able to get it back. Passes the ball over to Riley Sibley, who cuts in, but commits the foul on number 5, Edie Shea, who takes the free kick and gets the ball up onto the feet of Amanda Tebow for the Lady Warriors, who kicks the ball up to Gabby Martin. A step by Kaylee Guimont, who tries to retain possession for the Warriors, but it will end up being a throw-in for the Vikings. Quick passes. The Warriors end up with the ball on their foot. Gabby Martin, dribbling, takes a shot that is just wide of the net. It will be a goal kick for the Vikings. Just awaiting the goal kick. Number 10, Riley Sibley for the Warriors, is the first to the ball. She gets possession, passes it out to Sydney Philbrook, who gets it right back to Riley Sibley. But a quick, speedy Brooke Moore gets there to break up that effort for the Warriors. Shaylee Dondro keeps the ball in the half. Sydney Philbrook gets the ball at her foot, passes it over to Lacey Pelletier, who gets a touch, and passes it out to Kaylee Guimont, who tries one from distance, but is over the goal. Another goal kick for the Vikings. Riley Sibley again the first to the ball. Sydney Philbrick able to get possession, passes it back to Riley Sibley, who tries to get the ball to Sydney Philbrick and is able to keep it in. The Vikings are unable to clear, and it is kept in by the Warriors on the foot of Desiree Hafford. Now Lacey Pelletier with the ball, cuts. My view is obstructed there, I was unable to see. Lacey Pelletier with the ball on her foot, passes it over to Gabby Martin. But quickly there are a couple Vikings to swarm her and get the ball up. It will be a throw-in for the Warriors. Sub into the game for the Warriors, number 13, Nancy Martin. Kaylee Guimont with the throw. Over to Gabby Martin, who tries to turn and get a cross off, but it is deflected by one of the Viking players for a corner kick. It looks like Gabby will be the one taking that corner. Lacey Pelletier gets a foot on it, but is unable to get enough on it. Nancy Martin keeps possession over to Desiree Hafford, who rips a shot into the arms of Sage Dubé. She punts it over. Ellie Sidwa unable to get a touch, and it lands at number 9, Laura Page's feet, but she is unable to keep her touch inbound, so it will be a throw for the Warriors. Into number 6, Kaylee Guimont, who's quickly fouled by, it looks like number 5, Edie Shea, so will be a free kick for the Warriors. Looks like Amanda Tebow is going to take this one, and she does. Ends up going out off the Vikings for a throw to the Warriors. Ellie Sidwell with a quick throw-in, but ends up on the foot of a Viking. Warriors are able to maintain possession. Gabby Martin passes the ball over to Lacey Pelletier, who then gets the ball over to Sydney Philbrick. Nancy Martin tries to corral it, takes a touch, and is quickly swarmed by 2 Vikings. And the ball does go out for a corner. Into the game for the Warriors, number 12, Morgan Sear. It looks like Gabby Martin will be taking this corner kick. The Warriors get a touch, but they're unable to direct it towards the net. Desiree Hafford gets the ball out to Nancy Martin, but she is quickly dispossessed by a Viking defender who kicks it out for a Warrior throw. Desiree Hafford to take this throw. She gets it in. Lacey Pelletier with a head off of a foot of one of the Viking defenders, but stays here on this end for the Warriors. Nancy Martin with the throw. Ends up at the foot of Brooke Moore. A battle for it, but it ends up into the arms of the goalkeeper. Morgan Sear gets a touch on it, but is unable to maintain possession. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland, for the Vikings, takes a cut, but is dispossessed by Kaylee Guimont. Sam Roy with the ball at her foot is unable to connect with Kaylee Guimont. It lands onto the feet of the Vikings, who try to get it up, but Amanda Tebow is there to clear the ball out of the way for a Viking throw. Kaylee Guimont with the ball at her foot, but is unable to connect, and it will be another throw-in on the far side. Looks like that's number 12, Gabby Sutherland. Gets the ball out to Laura Page. And then a cross into the box. Lindsay Willett tries to hop on it, but is unable to do so. The ball skips out, and it will be a throw-in deep for the Vikings. it looks like number 10, Mia Terrio, is going to be taking that throw in for the Vikings. First to it are the Vikings. Number 5, Edie Shea, gets a foot on it, comes out to Emily Adler, who quickly gets a shot on net, but it is right there into the arms of Lindsay Willett, who takes a quick punt. The Vikings are the first to the ball. They maintain possession here on their offensive third. Kaylee Guimont is able to stay with it, keep possession, and Amanda Tebow is going to kick the ball up to Sydney Philbrook, who's trying to run through, but it ends up going out for a Warrior throw. Shaylee Jandro takes the throw to Nancy Martin, who gets the ball up to Sydney Philbrook. Lacey Pelletier tries to get the ball, but the Vikings have possession. Kaylee Guimont is able to keep it. And another clearance by the Vikings up to number 11, Selena Savage. Shaylee Jandro quickly able to recover on defense and get the ball to Desiree Hafford. The ball pops up into the air, and Desiree Hafford clears it out. It will be a throw for the Vikings. Into the game for the Vikings, number 7, Alia Terrio. Throw in for the Vikings. It ends up on Lacey Pelletier's foot, who cuts, picks her head up, tries to get the through ball. It goes out off of a Viking for a Warrior throw, which is quickly taken by Nancy Martin. Gabby Martin gets a touch on it in the box, but is unable to direct it towards the net, and it will go out for another Warrior throw. Nancy Martin with it. Pings off of a Viking player for another Warrior throw. Nancy Martin again takes the throw out to Sydney Philbrook, who has the ball in the corner, but the Vikings are able to get it away for now onto the foot of Desiree Hafford, who gets it to Lacey Pelletier, to Gabby Martin. Nancy Martin tries to get a touch on it. Lacey retains possession with a shot that takes a bit of a deflection into the arms of Sage Dubé. A nice punt out there that Kaylee Guimont is able to get her head on. Morgan Sear has the ball at her foot, passes it back to Kaylee Guimont, and then is cleared up by the Vikings onto the foot of Amanda Tebow. Amanda Tebow with the ball to Kaylee Guimont, who sends a ball up, tries to get it to Gabby Martin, but she is unable to corral it onto the foot of the Vikings. Her Page with the ball up the side, but she's unable to keep it in bounds, and it will be a throw for the Warriors. Into the game for the Warriors, number 10, Riley Sibley. Throw in by the Warriors. Vikings first to it, but it ends up coming to Lacey Pelletier on her foot, who looks up, picks a pass to Riley Sibley, who gets a touch on it, tries to deliver, but a quick step by the Vikings. Number 11, Selena Savage with the ball on her foot. She's looking to do something. Cuts by Shaylee Jandro, who commits a foul. Looks like number 11 is slow to get up. She's tough. She's going to walk it off and continue playing. Free kick will be taken by Edie Shea of the Vikings. Warriors have a two-man wall. A nice ball into the box, but Lindsay Willett is able to corral it. A quick punt for Lindsay. Gets the ball up to the sideline, but is unable to keep it in bounds. Throw in for the Vikings. Warriors with quick one-touch passes. Number 5, Edie Shea has the ball for the Vikings. She makes a move, goes hard to the ball. Number 11, Selena Savage, is able to keep possession. Shaylee Jondro in defense is able to keep her from getting the ball into the 18. It will be a throw-in for the Vikings. Looks like number 10, Mia Terrio, is going to take that for the Vikings. Back to Mia Terrio, who crosses the ball into the box, but there are no white shirts there, and Lindsay Willett is easily able to get the ball. Lacey Pelletier passes the ball up to Morgan Sear, who's running on that side, but the Vikings are the first to the ball. Lacey Pelletier keeps the ball in the half, gets it over to Sydney Philbrook, who makes a quick pass over to Gabby Martin, but good defense there by the Vikings is able to stop that threat. Sage Dubé corrals the ball, and she punts it over to the sideline. Kept in nicely by number 11, Selena Savage. Desiree Hafford gets a little touch on the ball to Lacey Pelletier. It ends up deflecting over to Gabby Martin, who gets a ball in the direction of Morgan Sear, but they're unable to connect, and it does end up being possessed by the Vikings. Number 12 with the ball. And that is going to be a foul on the Vikings, so it will be a free kick for the Warriors. Get the ball to Morgan Sear, who gets it to Sydney Philbrook, now on to Lacey Pelletier. On to Gabby Martin's foot, but she's unable to connect on her pass. Ball bouncing around in the 18 and is finally corralled by the goalkeeper for the Vikings. Kept in. Ooh. There will be subs into the game for the Warriors. We have number 21, Kate Lamar. Into the game for the Vikings, number 2, Abby Allen. Throw in by Desiree Hafford. Kate Lamar is able to get a touch on the ball, and it goes out for a throw-in to the Warriors. Ball's pinging around. Vikings clear it up, but Desiree Hafford is there and passes the ball back to Shaylee Jondro, who gets it right back to Desiree Hafford. Desiree Hafford with the ball, makes a small little move, and gets the ball over to Gabby Martin, who tries to get the ball to Lacey Pelletier, but there will be a foul called on the Warriors. We are halfway through this second half. Still a scoreless contest between the Caribou Vikings and the Fort Kent Warriors. Vikings are able to get possession in a dangerous area. Number 5, Edie Shea, had an opportunity, but the Warriors' defense collapses. Morgan Sear dribbling the ball up the field, picks her head up and tries to deliver a ball to Gabby Martin, but it is too far into the hands of the goalkeeper for the Vikings, Sage Dubé. Vikings lose possession onto Kaylee Guimau's foot, and she tries to get the ball over to Desiree Hafford, but Selena Savage is there waiting. Desiree Hafford with some recovery defense. It ends up onto the foot of Shaylee Jondro. Back to the foot of Shaylee Jondro, who gets it to Riley Sibley, who's able to control it. She's got a little bit of space here. She takes it and then delivers a ball that Gabby Martin is able to get her foot on. Lacey Pelletier with the ball at her foot. She cuts back and stabs at the ball with her left foot, but it is saved by Sage Dubé. a nice punt. And that will be a push in the back by the Vikings. So it will be a free kick for the Warriors, taken by number 5, Amanda Tebow. Gabby Martin is the first to the ball. She turns and gets it wide over to Morgan Sear, who gets it back to Gabby Martin. Back to Morgan Sear, up to Lacey Pelletier, who's able to get a touch on the ball. But quickly the Vikings are able to collapse. The ball is passed back to Desiree Hafford. Number 14, Gabby Martin with the ball. But they're unable to connect, and the Vikings have the ball. Number 21, Brooke Moore, clears it up. Sam Roy gets a touch on it and is able to get it to Kaylee Gima. But right back to the Vikings on defense. Battle for the ball. Selena Savage is able to win. She's dribbling up the wing with Desiree Hafford in quick pursuit, who's able to shield the ball away and retain possession for the Warriors. At throw, Selena Savage with the ball, but Lacey Pelletier is there. She switches the ball quickly, but is unable to connect with Morgan Sear. But it looks like the Vikings are the last to get a touch on the ball. It will be a throw-in for the Warriors. Into the game for the Vikings, number 12, Gabby Sutherland, and into the game for the Warriors, number 26, Sydney Philbrook. Sam Roy has the ball at her foot. Tries to get the ball to Lacey Pelletier, but there is a Viking there. A little bit of a misplay, and it lands on the feet of number 21, Kate Lamar, who tries to send a through ball to Sydney Philbrook, but it ends up into the arms of Sage Duvet. Desiree Hafford with her foot to the ball. Vikings attempting to mount an attack, but Shaylee Jondro is able to get the ball on her foot, passes it out off the foot of one of the Vikings. Kate Lamar is able to keep that ball in, but the Vikings are the first to it. It will be a throw deep in the offensive third for the Warriors. Lacey Pelletier has the ball. Tries to get it over to Morgan Sear, who's in pursuit. And it will go out for a Warrior throw-in. Lacey Pelletier with the ball on her foot. Kaylee Guimont gets it, tries to put it back in, right into the arms of the goalkeeper. A quick throw, kept in by number 12, Gabby Sutherland. Desiree Hafford quick to the ball, but it will be a throw-in for the Vikings. Number 1, Macy Wakeham to take it. It ends up on the foot of number 10, Mia Terrio. Riley Sibley is able to take it. She's still got the ball on her foot. Oop. A missed clearance there, but it goes out of harm's way. Evie Shea tries to get the ball up, but she is fouled, so it will be brought back for a free kick for the Vikings. Looks like number 21, Brooke Moore, will be taking this kick. She gets the ball up. Lacey Pelletier is able to get a touch on it and maintains possession. Passes it off to Sydney Philbrook, who takes one touch and passes the ball over to Riley Sibley. Kate Lamar in pursuit. Morgan Sear ends up with the ball on her foot and cleared out by the Vikings. A quick step by Sam Roy, who's able to maintain possession for the Warriors. And it will be a green throw-in into the game for the Vikings, number 11, Selena Savage, and into the game for the Warriors, number 14, Gabby Martin. We have 14 minutes left in the second half, still a scoreless contest. Sydney Philbrook tries to get the ball. She is fouled. Warriors are trying to move quickly before the Vikings are able to set up a wall, and they do. Kaylee Guimont gets a touch on it. Tries to pass the ball out, but it ends up on the foot of Desiree Hafford, who gets the ball over to Riley Sibley, who passes it to Sydney Philbrook, but they are unable to connect on any sort of shot, and it will be a goal kick for the Vikings. First to the ball is number 5, Edie Shea. Vikings clear it up. Selena Savage in pursuit, but Amanda Tebow is able to get her foot on the ball to Lacey Pelletier, who quickly gets it over to Gabby Martin. Sam Roy tries to find Lacey Pelletier, but there's a Viking there. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland, gets it over to number 10, Mia Terrio. Quick little one-touch back over to Gabby. Shaylee Guimont with some good recovery defense and is able to draw the foul. So it will be a kick deep into Amanda Tebow with a quick ball over to Riley Sibley, who is still dribbling the ball, picks out a pass to Gabby Martin, who makes a cut and delivers the ball over to Morgan Sear. Takes a deflection off of the Vikings, but the Warriors are able to maintain possession. Desiree Hafford takes a shot, but it is wide of the net. Into the game for the Caribou Vikings, number 7, Alia Terrio. And into the game for the Warriors, number 13, Nancy Martin. Kaylee Guimont with the ball on her foot is able to get it up to Sydney Philbrook, who tries to lay it off to Lacey Pelletier, but there is a Viking there to dispossess it. Shaylee Jondro gets it, but is unable to keep it in and connect on her pass to Desiree Hafford. It will be a throw-in, number 10 for the Vikings, who gets it to number 12, Gabby Sutherland. Shaylee Jondro with some good defense there. Lacey Pelletier gets a touch on it, but it is unable to fall back at her feet. Sam Roy with a good step and some good pressure there is able to force a mistake for the Vikings and get a Warrior throw-in. Lacey Pelletier gets a touch on it, tries to get it up to Gabby Martin, who is sprinting after it, but is unable to get there before the Vikings keeper is able to corral it, and she has a quick punt. Desiree Hafford the first to the ball. She still has it. Riley Sibley gets the ball back to Desiree Hafford, who gets it back to Riley Sibley and is able to keep possession with a really nice pass over to Sydney Philbrook, but they're unable to connect on the 1-2. Desiree Hafford with some good defense is able to get a shot off, but right into the arms of Sage Dubé. Vikings the first to the ball. And it looks like Kaylee Guimont committed the foul there, so it will be a free kick for the Vikings. Kaylee Guimont the first to that ball. Again, she gets her foot on the ball, back to number 8, I believe, Emma Hickson. Amanda Tebow with possession. She's going to keep dribbling up. Tries to get the through ball, but there is a Viking defender in the way. Number 5, Edie Shea, is dribbling the ball. Takes a shot, but right into the arms of Lindsay Letts. We have just under 10 minutes here in the second half. It is still a 0-0 game. Lacey Pelletier gets a nice touch on it. Maintains possession. Brooke Moore with her head up looking for a teammate. An attempted clearance that is deflected by the Warriors. Desiree Hafford gets the ball but is unable to keep it in. That will be a throw-in for the Vikings into the game. For the Vikings, number 3. And I do not have her name here on my roster, so I do apologize. Number 10, Riley Sibley, is able to keep the ball in. It ends up on the feet of Sydney Philbrook, who is fouled by number 21, Brooke Moore. So it will be a direct kick that Riley Sibley takes into the box. And the Warriors are able to get a touch on it, pinging around in the box. Desiree Hafford with the ball in her foot, takes a shot, but it does go wide. No deflection on that shot, so it will be a goal kick for the Vikings. Looked like the Warriors had something going there, but they were unable to put the ball in the back of the net. Lacey Pelletier the first to the ball. Sydney Philbrook with a nice pass over to Gabby Martin. Ends up on the foot of Nancy Martin, who tries to wrap her left foot around the ball, but is unable to score. Desiree Hafford first to the ball. It does end up onto the feet of one of the Viking players. Sam Roy gets the ball, tries to clear it out wide. It looks like one of the Vikings got a touch on it. However, Amanda Tebow with a nice recovery on defense to kick it out for a Viking corner. It is on the far side, so I'm not sure who is taking that corner for the Vikings. A high ball to the near post that is deflected, but a really nice save by Lindsay Lett. That will go out for another corner for the Vikings. Another high ball to the near post, but it is able to be cleared away by Amanda Tebow, who gets the ball to the foot of Gabby Martin. Tries to get it up to Sydney Philbrook, but is able to connect. Amanda Tebow with the touch out wide to Riley Sibley. When Viking in direct pursuit, but Riley Sibley takes a nice cut. She's taking her space and delivers the ball to Gabby Martin, who tries to get the through ball to Sydney Philbrook, but it is just a little bit too far, and the Warriors are unable to connect. Another punt here by Sage Dubé. First to the ball is number 10, Mia Terrio, but it appears that she did commit a handball violation, so that will be a kick for the Warriors near midfield that Desiree Hafford takes. And the ball is deflected out towards the Caribou goalkeeper, but she is able to corral it and quickly throws it up near midfield to number 11, Selena Savage, who's able to get the ball up, and it ends up on the foot of number 12, Gabby Sutherland. Now to number 10, Mia Terrio. An attempted clearance out by the Warriors that falls at the foot of number 5, Edie Shea. But she is unable to put it on target into the game for the Vikings, number 13, Maddie Ziegler. It will be a goal kick for the Warriors. First to that ball is the Vikings, but it ends up going right onto the foot of Amanda Tebow, who gets the ball up to Riley Sibley, who's able to beat her defender and tries to deliver the ball. But Desiree Hafford is able to get a touch on it. Sydney Philbrook in good pursuit, but the Vikings are able to get it up. Shaylee Jondro gets the ball out to Riley Sibley, who gets it to Desiree Hafford, who is unable to connect with Riley Sibley, and it will be a throw for the Vikings into the game for the Vikings, number 7, Alia Terrio. Vikings are the first to the throw. It ends up on the foot of number 12, Gabby Sutherland, but Lacey Pelletier is there, and she quickly turns, and Gabby Martin's able to get a touch on that to Sydney Philbrook, who was unable to connect on her pass. A quick throw by the Vikings goalkeeper, but the Warriors are quickly there. It looks like Nancy Martin was able to get that ball. She puts up a really good fight and is able to maintain possession. The fans love it over here. The ball ends up at the feet of Lacey Pelletier, who is able to get the ball to Desiree Hafford. It does deflect off of the Vikings into the game for the Warriors, number 12, Morgan Sear. Desiree Hafford will take the throw-in. Desiree Hafford throws the ball, ends up on the feet of Lacey Pelletier, but the Vikings are quickly there to take the ball away from Lacey. A kick up that Gabby Sutherland is in pursuit of, but Amanda Tebow passes the ball out to Shaylee Jondro, who gets it to Lacey Pelletier, who takes a nice turn. Gabby Martin is in hot pursuit of that ball. She is able to get there, but it is just wide of the net and cleared out quickly by the Vikings. It will be a throw-in for the Warriors. There's 2 minutes left in this contest, still 0-0. The Warriors are putting the pressure on, trying to get that goal. It's going to go out for a green throw-in. Desiree Hafford looking for Sydney Philbrook. The ball in the corner. Still in. Still fighting for possession before it finally goes out for a green throw-in. Nancy Martin to take it. Brooke Moore has it on her foot, is able to get it up to Gabby Sutherland. But Kaylee Guimont has it on her foot. She gets the ball out to Morgan Sear, who quickly tries to get the ball up. She ends up getting it back from Samantha Roy. Crosses the ball into the box, trying to connect with Nancy Martin, but is unable to. A quick punt by Sage Dubé. Desiree Hafford first to it. It goes out to Amanda Tebow, who passes it back to Desiree Hafford, who's looking for a teammate. Sydney Philbrook is running onto it, but is unable to get there. However, it will go out for a Warrior throw. We have 30 seconds left in this game. Another clearance by the Vikings. The Warriors are really putting the pressure on, keeping the ball in their offensive third. Vikings are the first to it. Sydney Philbrook gets a touch on it. She's almost able to keep that ball in. We have a sub, number 2, Abby Allen, into the game.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that is the end of regulation. We have a scoreless game, 0-0. We will resume with a 5-minute overtime. get this overtime period underway as both teams take the field. This will be the second game in a row the Vikings play a game that goes into overtime. They tied Foxcroft their last time out by a score of 1-1. Looks like the Warriors are going to start with the ball first. Gabby Martin in the circle, and the ready for play whistle blows. She gets the ball out to Kaylee Gima, who tries to get the ball up to Riley Sibley, but it ends up going right back onto her foot. She passes it back to Sam Roy, who gets it back to Riley Sibley, who is able to get the ball, kicks it back up, cleared by the Viking defense, onto the foot of Amanda Tebow, who decides to take the short pass and get it out to Sam Roy, who is unable to connect on her pass. However, Desiree Hafford is the first to the loose ball. Again, getting the ball over to Morgan Sear, who kicks it up, but it is going to stay in the offensive third for the Warriors. Morgan Sear to take the throw. Vikings first to it, but it comes right back onto Morgan Sear's foot, into the arms of Sage Dubé for her punt. It ends up bouncing through. Sam Roy gets the ball up to Riley Sibley, who's unable to keep it in bounds. It will be a throw for number 13 of the Vikings. Desiree Hafford kicks the ball up. Sam Roy is able to get a touch on it, and she turns and hits it wide to Riley Sibley, but they are unable to connect on the pass and keep it in. It will be another throw for the Vikings, this time taken by number 2, Abby Allen, who gets the ball over to Selena Savage, who is quickly swarmed by Kaylee Gima. The ball is able to squeak its way through, but is quickly cleared out of bounds by Desiree Hafford. Number 2 for the Vikings again to take the throw. This time finding number 7, Alia Terrio. A good hard shield by Riley Sibley, and she is able to get the ball for the Warriors on a throw-in. It is passed out by the Vikings, so it will be a throw, but a nice skip by Riley Sibley gets the ball onto Gabby Martin's foot, who quickly turns and switches over to Morgan Sear. And Morgan Sear gets a touch on that ball and is able to keep it in bounds, but number 21 from the Vikings clears it up to number 12, Gabby Sutherland, who still has the ball on her foot, turns and passes the ball up to Selena Savage, but they are unable to connect as Amanda Tebow is there. It'll be a throw for the Vikings.
2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes left in this overtime contest. It's a quick hit up. Lindsay comes out of her goal, is unable to connect on a pass, but the Warriors defense swarms, and they will get a throw-in. Riley Sibley quickly up to Lacey Pelletier, who turns, is able to keep it in. She's dribbling, picks her head up, looks for Sydney Philbrook, who gets a touch on it, but it does end up going by her. Morgan Sear tries to also get a touch on the ball, but it ends up being corralled by Sage Dubé, the goalkeeper for the Vikings, who quickly punts it up. First to the ball is Kaylee Gima. Gets it over to Lacey Pelletier, gets it to Riley Sibley. Vikings defense is there, but she is able to shield and get possession back. Cuts it onto her right foot. Lacey Pelletier with a touch, but it does go to the Vikings goalkeeper. There is 1 minute left. First to the ball, Desiree Hafford. Sydney Philbrook with the touch, tries to get the ball to Gabby Martin. Vikings defense is there, and they quickly get it up onto the foot of Shaylee Jandro, who gets it to Desiree Hafford. gets it to Sydney Philbrook, who is fouled. There is 20 seconds left. The Warriors are scrambling to try and get this free kick off. Desiree Hafford takes it onto the foot of Kaylee Guimau, who puts it on the ground through the 18, but it is unable to get a touch on it by the Warriors. 1 second left. And that is the end of the first overtime session. The teams have switched sides in preparation for the start of this second 5-minute overtime session. It will be white ball to start this overtime period. Waiting on the ready for play whistle. And number 11, Selena Savage, passes it back to the Vikings, who quickly get the ball up, but Desiree Hafford is the first to it. We have a little game of one touch going on. Amanda Tebow gets the ball, but is unable to find one of her teammates. Sam Roy with some good defense. Gabby Martin, who shielded away her defender and gets the ball up to Morgan Sear, but the defender is there. She kicks it out to Kaylee Guimau, who, with a sliding effort, is unable to keep it in, but Desiree Hafford is right there. She's taking her space, but the defender is there to dispossess her. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland with the ball, ends up on Desiree Hafford's foot, but is deflected. It's over, but it will be a white throw. Number 12, Gabby Sutherland to take it, ends up on the foot of Desiree Hafford, who tries to get it up to Sydney Philbrook, but the defender steps. Amanda Tebow with the ball, tries to switch side, but kicks it out of bounds for a white throw-in. A pass kicked up, but Amanda Tebow gets her foot on it, out to Desiree Hafford. Kaylee Guimau with a big boot that ends up going into the arms of the Caribou goalkeeper for a punt that Riley Sibley is able to get to first. Gets a nice ball over to Morgan Sear, who gets it to Gabby Martin, who quickly turns and fires A quick throw by the Caribou goalkeeper. Caribou Vikings get possession, but Shaylee Jandro with a good step gets the ball up to Sydney Philbrook, who gets a touch on it but is unable to connect with one of her teammates. Number 10 kicks the ball up. A bit of a misplay by Amanda Tebow, but she is quickly there to recover and get the ball out to Shaylee Jandro. Tries to get the ball to Desiree Hafford, but it did take a deflection onto the foot of a Caribou player, but it is going to be a goal kick for the Warriors into the game. Number 6, Abby McNeil for the Caribou Vikings. Amanda Tebow takes the goal kick very quickly out to Sam Roy, who gets it up to Morgan Sear.
2 minutes.
But the Vikings are there to regain possession.
Good job,
Amanda Tebow clears the ball out, but it ends up onto the foot of Gabby Sutherland. But Desiree Hafford is there for a quick recovery. Number 10, Mia Terrio to take this throw-in for the Vikings. We have a minute and a half left in this second overtime session. Desiree Hafford shielding. Caribou player turns and sends a cross into the box, but Lindsay Willett is there waiting. We have just over a minute left in this contest. Lindsay Willett with the punt that Sydney Philbrook is unable to get a touch on, but Morgan Sear is able to keep possession for the Warriors. We have 1 minute remaining in this second overtime. Kaylee Guimont kicks that ball out, so it will be a throw for the Vikings. Kaylee Guimont the first to the ball, but it does go out for another Viking throw. 30 seconds left in this contest. The Warriors trying to get the ball up. It ends up going to the foot of Lacey Pelletier, who quickly gets a nice ball up to Riley Sibley, who's running on in pursuit. Cleared out by the Vikings
10,
for a
9,
goal kick.
8, 7,
Number
6,
13, Nancy
5,
Martin into the game.
4, 3, 2, 1.
But time does run out, and this game will finish as a 0-0 tie. A good, hard-fought game by both sides. Goalkeepers with good games, able to keep both teams scoreless.